Oh, that was a different one. I kind of liked it. I kind of liked it.
Yeah.
You hate it. I hate it. All right, guys, welcome back. We are back in the basement for another episode of Blockchain Basement. It's the show where we just hang out, talk crypto, relax a little bit. It's a little bit more of a slower pace. We chat with you guys. So, of course, hello to everyone in the chat. Mr. Techno Goody, Riddle with Puns, Raz Mataz, Evan Coons,
Crypto Thorn,
Chef Crypto is in the house, Crypto Thorn, Gata Life. As always, welcome to all of you. Feel free to drop any questions. Just going to be talking about the craziness over the last few days. I feel like I've been on Twitter. Ali could probably attest. I've been looking at Twitter nonstop on, all the Sam Bankman-Fried drama, everything going on, who's buying it, who's not buying it, CZ, Justin Sun. This is kind of everything going on in crypto right now. Jesse Powell came out and made statements today, so we're going to be looking at that. We've got leaked messages from the FTX Slack I'm going to read through some of those. Sam Bankman's statement this morning, he broke the 20 or almost 48-hour silence. Just all sorts of craziness. We got CPI numbers. I'd say huge Bitcoin pump today. But real quick, let me go around the room. We're joined by some of your favorites here at the Hit Factory, Hit Network, BitBoy Crypto. We've got the one, the only, the legendary. We only get him every once in a while, so ask him a lot of questions. He's going to bring the heat today, the hot takes. Crypto Sunglasses,
That's
our
right.
lead content developer, researcher here at BitBoy Crypto. We've got our Space Commander, Biscuit Jesus, BJ over there on the board.
There he is.
We've also got Drew here, Mr. Drew Whiter, everybody's favorite neighbor, and my favorite neighbor up here next to me, Crypto Alley, or Alley B Crypto, I guess is what it is. It changes every day. Who knows? And then, of course, my name is TJ. We're going to be just, like I said, chilling with you guys, talking through some of the news. So real quick, we'll look at the price. Obviously, it's changing very rapidly on the CPI numbers today. This is kind of a core question we'll throw around the room and discuss a little bit today. We had Tom Crown on the morning stream. This is obviously the after show for the morning stream we do that Ben and I usually do in the morning. So we just come down here in the basement, brought to you by Twitch. This is the only place you can watch this show live and get engaged with the chat. So you guys could keep an eye on those questions for me. But CPI numbers come in. Inflation still up, obviously up 7% and change, but it's up not quite as much as what was expected. About say roughly 0.4, 0.5, 0.5% less than they were expecting. You can see here, got a huge pump. I mean, that's the daily. Let me move us into a
30-minute.
Oh, that's 30-second.
Oh,
I
my
don't want to see that. 30 seconds is too much. Let's move in on that 30-minute. Pull us up.
Oh no. Whoa.
30-minute. I think let's go a couple hours.
4 hour.
Yeah, I usually like to look at the 4 hour. I mean, we could do the 1 hour even, but I mean, you can see that huge recovery here from this morning. It was pretty much right on the announcement of the CPI information coming out. We have fallen back to 17.2 at this point. Oh, I always forget. Our heads are so big down there.
Yeah.
But the overall question is, do you think the overall fallout from FTX, Alameda, all this sort of stuff is going to continue to have control over the market and the prices, or will the Fed and CPI and kind of the rates and all that remain in control? Either one of you guys down there. Nick, you want to start with that?
Sure, I'll start with that. Whoa.
Oh,
Well,
also some little housekeeping, another announcement. Okay, so hold that thought. Don't forget, we're going to come back to that question. But BJ, do you have something to tell some people about some of the things you were doing right before we came down
I made
here?
a mistake. If you do exclamation memes, there's going to be a list of things. Right now, it's not not channel point based, but it will be soon. So the more you watch, the thanker memes you'll get. But
Yeah. So we're adding some fun little gamification, obviously. So you get, for those of you who don't know, I'm sure a lot of you are Twitch regulars, so you know how it goes. But if you're not, you have an account, you get points. The more you watch, you obviously get to put little commands in there. We're going to be adding some fun actions and things you can make us do. But go ahead, Nick, take it away. Who's in control, the macro of the crypto industry or the Fed?
Well,
Or
the Fed
both?
is. Yeah, the Fed's in control right now of our monetary policy. They're definitely flexing hard on the rest of the world, but the macro of just all of the funny money is still getting shaken out. And I was having an interesting thought to myself this morning on my ride over here. A lot of the analysts are saying, and like, TJ, give me your input on this. So this time last year when people were like, oh man, crypto's China FUD. We're like, oh, China FUD, like that means that's really bullish for crypto, right? Every time there's FUD coming out. Well, we've been hearing from the experts a lot of FUD that 2023 is going to be the most hellacious year. We could be in for like a 2-year deep depression. Are they just FUDing us? Are they trying to get us to spend all of our or hold our capital now so that they're buying the dip and we're having to buy the upswing? Like, are we playing into our own narrative of, yes, we all think it's bad and all the experts are agreeing with us, so we're just going along with it, or is there something else at play here?
No, that's a really good question to be asking right now. I ask that all the time. Watch what they do, not what they say.
Yeah.
Are they and we can see they were trying to go in hard and heavy. We look at all the investors of FTX. They were trying to go in really strong this year while they were saying it's going to be bad next year. So yeah, I think that's a perfectly reasonable theory to be considering right now and to be thinking about if the strong narrative, if the overwhelming narrative is all one direction.
Yep.
Let's just do a double check. I do think early next year there's still going to be some pain on the markets, but traditionally speaking, around this period is when the bottom should be. We've been saying after midterm elections for a while. Now, the main question I think Ali was asking right before we started the stream is, did we miss the bottom? Was that the bottom, or is there lower to go? That's the never-ending question. Obviously,
that was the bottom.
Okay, so BJ, you're going to go hard. That was the bottom?
Yeah.
Okay.
BJ goes hard on the bottoms.
Yeah, he always is,
Hell
BJ.
Yeah.
We know when we saw all the other things, Terra Luna, Celsius collapse, it did wick down and then recover pretty quickly and then trade a little bit lower, but not as much as it did on that panic wick. Yesterday, last night, right before positive CPI numbers could have been that panic wick. Obviously, the main key difference with the key CPI numbers gave more of a slightly less bearish rate hike prediction coming into December. We were supposed to, I think the estimation was about 50-50 on whether it would be a 0.5 or a 0.75. You guys know we've talked about in this chat a lot that we think it's going to be 0.5% raise here into mid-December, I think 13th and 14th. So today the odds jumped 75% that it will be 0.5% raise, which could potentially, hopefully, and that's really what pushed the market up. It was that change in prediction on the rates that, okay, things are starting to soften. It could leave a path for the Fed to, okay, if inflation is starting to come down, one more rate hike at least gives the Fed the option to potentially start tapering it down in 2023, which, to your point, would make everything extremely would mean now and Q1 of next year is the time to be buying.
Yeah.
Not when everybody else is scared. Which is a very real possibility that could be when the macro bottom is. So.
Yeah, the idea from Ben Shapiro today was like the election was more of a red trickle. It wasn't even a red tide or red wave. It was just like a red squirt.
Right.
And it was such a self-inflicted wound by the Republicans, but they still gained control of the House. So it's going to at least stall the Democrats' completely unhinged from reality economic policies, because they've been able to run the table and just kind of print and do whatever and like buy off Joe Manchin, XYZ. And so we've been pumping all this money into the economy. Well, now there's going to be a little bit of a stopgap because the Republicans can at least pull a lever so that maybe our saving grace, and instead of like going down like the wings and the tail rip off, maybe it'll be a little bit of a hard landing in a cornfield instead of a hard landing in the ocean.
Was a hard landing like Corey just gifting them 4 subs?
I was going to say, let's go, Corey, with the gifted subs.
Look at that.
That's awesome.
And then Gata Life complimenting me on my sunglasses. You, sir, are a person of taste.
Where do you get those sunglasses?
I made them custom.
Oh, well, look at that.
I was thinking, about this, and I was kind of at the mindset, I hope we stay in this low price range for a long time, half a year, give me a full year of collecting from this point on, buying the dip. But usually when my heart has intentions like that, that's not really what reality gives me. So I'm kind of, the velocity of yesterday's drop, it felt pretty bottomish, but I'm just DCAing. I bought some this morning, bought some, yesterday when I see it. I just buy bloody days, just keep buying big bad wicks.
Big bags of blood.
Yeah,
Zero
big bags
Phases said, I think we have lower to go. There's more insolvent exchanges. A bunch of stuff on DOT are going to collapse.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was just looking at. There's obviously a lot of things that can still unwind from this. We know Alameda. What's that?
Evergrande.
Yeah,
We're all forgetting about that. That unwinds in February.
And that's internationally, not really even related to crypto, but Alameda, when it comes to crypto, obviously being the largest money maker, a lot of projects, this is going to immediately wipe out a lot of smaller projects that they were market making for. I just saw rumors that breaking news, and this is, again, a lot of this is on Twitter. It's breaking, it's changing all the time. It's unconfirmed, but as we're pulling this up, we're just reading and reacting to this stuff. It's saying FTX US could be potentially stopping withdrawals in a few days. So I would say up until this point, FTX US has been completely separate from all these deals, was supposedly 100% solvent, supposedly healthy business. That being said, if you're using FTX right now, I would withdraw all your funds from FTX US and get them somewhere you can save them. We've talked about it on the show a lot of times. We talk about a lot of different resources. If you need wallet reviews, you can go to bitboycrypto.com. We've got them there. But it sounds like more and more as these acquisition talks continue, FTX US is getting included in that. Seems like the US government might stop in and prevent any sales from going through, but there's jurisdictional things at play when it comes to all that, because FTX parent isn't necessarily a US company.
Yeah.
So somebody asked at the beginning, and I know there's been a lot of different questions flowing through the chat here, but somebody did ask early on, what do we think about, and I don't know if everybody here has been reading I'm sure you guys have been, with Sam's apology tweet and a lot of a lot of this stuff that's been going on with Twitter this morning. Like, any thoughts, reactions to that? I mean, we could read through some of it. I did want to read Jesse Powell's response to all this thing, because obviously, just quick recap. Basically, Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX, had approximately $10 billion in users' funds. They gave 6 or so of that to Alameda, who lost it all. So now there's this big hole. Approximately.
So is this what it looks like when a sociopath apologizes?
Clearly,
yes.
This is it.
Yes.
I mean, it was a long Twitter thread.
Oopsies.
Didn't really say much. Excuse the language if you guys aren't used to it, but this is the after show, so put the kids down before the after show. But sorry,
down?
this
For nap
For
time.
nap
nap
time. That's what
time.
you say.
Yeah.
BJ, there are small
BJ.
humans
Right.
called children.
Right.
You put them down for naps. Sorry. Go ahead,
Put them to
DJ.
sleep.
Yes.
Oh, BJ.
You put
BJ.
animals down. You put children.
No, it's both when it comes to kids.
Oh,
TJ,
yeah.
TJ, you got to get in here before BJ makes us
Yeah.
Well, it's all right. We're just, again, this is it's a relaxed kind of show. The basement dwellers, they're used to people like BJ. That's just the way it goes.
It was aggravating seeing him say, "I'm sorry," after he's clearly like last year he was like, "Some are secretly insolvent," and then he comes out, "I'm sorry."
Yeah,
And
that
then
wasn't
why-
last year. That was a few months ago.
That was a few months. Yeah, it's just like why-
Yeah, the best response, I'll read through some of this. The best response I saw to it overall, and I mentioned it on the morning show, I think it was Bitlord. Here, let's just go look. Bitlord, well.
Sofa King Cryptic says, tell me Drew doesn't look like Khabib when he's not training. He
Khabib?
also sounds like Buffalo Bill. I'm now officially scared
Yeah.
of Drew.
Yeah, they were calling him Buffalo Bill the other day. We all decided Drew's your favorite neighbor. He's the guy that's just like always there, really takes care of his house. You really
Yeah.
want him to live next to you when the zombie apocalypse comes. But
I know
like,
your schedule.
he's got some. He knows your schedule. He knows everything. He knows way too much about you. But he's got
cargo
some,
pants companies solvent.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly. He's always got a knife on
Yeah.
him for whatever reason.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't have
very
my knife.
helpful guy. But
I'll let you-
Riddle with Puns said SPF and Do Kwon's apology tweets are hilarious. So all of your money is gone. My bad. Not really my fault though.
Yeah, it's like
That's basically.
that's what Bitlord said. Like, he's like, saying my bad, I messed up. Sorry I effed up, guys. I should have done better. Like, that's what you say to your high school sports team after you
Yeah.
lose a game,
right.
not to what you say to millions of people after you
Yeah.
lose billions of dollars.
That's what Derek Carr has said after every Raiders game this year.
Yeah, like, sorry guys, I'm just not that good.
Clip
of a quarterback.
that and tag the Raiders, please,
Yeah.
everyone on Twitch. Yeah, I feel like at this point, TJ, do you think a Steady Lads tweet is now a meme in crypto?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a huge.
Oh, it's
red
definitely
flag.
a meme in crypto. I mean, that's what everybody felt like was happening. That was that moment a
Yeah.
couple days ago when they were saying, "No, everything's fine." Like, this feels
That's how
like
you
that
know.
steady lads moment. Like, it's that dreaded vote of confidence that never tends to work out very well.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
the apology tweet was long and went on and tried to explain different things. I mean, really. Breaking down, I found this first thing this morning, a message on SBF Slack that got leaked through Kobe.
Oof. Yeah, I read that.
Yeah, this really kind of shows a lot of where, you know, this is a more honest, basically he even talks about having to put that tweet out in this message. I'll read through it pretty briefly. He's like,
my God.
you know, I know I promised more information. I should have given you guys more sooner. And, you know, a bunch have been. First of all, once again, I'm sorry. Ultimately, it's my, this is to all of his employees in his company. Ultimately, it's my responsibility to make sure the right things happen. I'm extremely grateful for what all of you guys have done and always will be. My number one priority right now is to do right by our customers. Interesting. I mean, obviously, he says that throughout all of this, but it hasn't been consistent with his actions up until this point. That was my own interjection there. After that, it's to do right by you guys and by investors, but only after taking care of customers. I can never know for sure what the right
one just himself, and he's
I think that's what's getting in
exactly.
my mind, yeah.
But only after number one. Great
Yeah.
point. You know, it depends on how you
slip.
interpret it. You know,
Yeah.
that's a great point there. I can never know for sure what the right path forward is, but at the end of the day, the most important thing is that we work together. So
Well, I can tell you, fractional reserving wasn't the way.
yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, this is not. Yeah, I like the commentary. Keep it coming. And the chat too. I mean, this is
Chat's lighting up. I love it.
I love.
Well,
We
like
love it.
Pleb XL is FTX like Luna? No, Luna could repeg itself. FTX is screwed.
No, that was one thing that I think is important is Luna operated exactly as it's supposed to. It's a DeFi protocol.
Yeah.
It paid everything back in the order it was supposed to be paid back. There was no opaque paying back certain investors more earlier with customer funds, all that stuff. It liquidated and it operated exactly as it was supposed to, and people got wrecked on it. And that's what happens when a DeFi protocol breaks down. This is completely different than that. This is a centralized entity doing, you know, mismanaging funds, taking funds from customers' wallets and sending it to themselves to trade, making bad investments and bad trades, and creating a liquidity problem. It's very different in that regard. So that is
Is that
important.
the Evan Aldo?
Is it the
What?
is
Evan
he
Aldo
there?
Crypto?
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna have Evan Aldo on the show joining us here tomorrow. I'd be interested to hear his
Whoa.
take. I mean, obviously he's more of a technical analysis guy. Uses a lot of market cipher. So if you guys are looking for tips on that, be sure to check his channel out. I know Frank has collaborated with him multiple times. Big fan of his. I remember the very first time I heard Frank mention his name. He was like, "Oh man, I love this guy Evan Aldo." So. We're going to have him on the Basement Show with us tomorrow. We're going to be either hopefully testing out that guest star feature. But coming back to this, here is his plan going forward. And we'll get into a little bit more the Justin Sun angle, which I do think he mentions him down here, which if you guys don't know Justin Sun, which I forget, like Justin Sun was kind of definitely very different than Sam Bankman-Fried, but in some regards, like his SBF of the last bull run with ICOing with Tron. He was a very early Ethereum guy. Obviously, another crypto billionaire, one of the very wealthy in crypto. But for the next week, we will be conducting, this is Sam about FTX. We will be conducting a raise. The goal of this raise will be first to do right by customers, second by current and possible new investors, which that's an interesting pitch right now. Like,
That's insane.
Are you listening? Okay, so BJ, you're VC right now in Silicon Valley. SBF comes to your door pitching a raise for FTX, and he's going to get you your money back with your investment. How much are you giving him?
I'm super sadistic and masochistic, so yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Nothing.
you're
Get
down.
out.
Yeah.
Come on.
5% of my fund, no problem. Yeah, okay. No, that would be quite the ask right now.
Yeah.
So I'd be interested to hear how they frame that.
Yeah,
if the
SBF is looking for all the subs he can, and I don't
If the
mean on
WeWork
Twitch.
guy can get it.
Oh,
That's a good point. If the guy from WeWork who lost people billions of dollars came around and turned around and raised another $1 billion startup,
Jesus.
Adam Newman, right?
Yeah, that's it. Adam Newman. So another good sociopath, you'd say. Good
He-
luck.
He just tweeted again like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, there was a tweet right before we came live that I think that talks about some of this stuff and what their plan is with Justin Sun, exit liquidity, withdrawals through BTT. So we're going to get to that. We're going to just work our way through kind of this is all since this morning. So this, some of you guys, I assume a lot of you guys are on Twitter, might have already read this, but if you're not on crypto Twitter constantly all the time like we are, we're going to save you a little time here. So let's see. They're doing that. Where was it? Future raise.
Oh, Allie, read that, Chef Crypto.
Say Because of BitBoy and the Hit Network team, I was mentally ready for this bear market, and I'm more than grateful. And because of Frankie Candles, I'm profiting more in the bear market than I did in the bull market. From the bottom of my heart, thank you all.
Let's
Thanks,
go.
Chef Crypto.
Yeah.
Chef Crypto.
Yo.
Shout out to Frankie Candles, Hit
Yeah.
Network, and the Bit
Cooking
Squad.
up the love.
That's
Yeah.
right, baby.
That's what it's
Wow.
about.
Bit
See
Squad
you at
for
the
life.
top, Chef
Yeah.
Crypto.
You can
See
make
you at
money,
the
and that's
top.
important. You guys can make money going up, going down. If you invest in
Mhm.
yourself, educate yourself, trade. We got a lot of really good guys in here that do that really well. So, and girls.
Having that mindset super important for bear markets.
Absolutely.
too. Big time.
Okay, so let's see. Third of all, of course, after the new investors, he does care somewhat. Thirdly, about his employees, and
so weird.
Yeah, and only in a hypothetical. Oh, he had to work this part in this hypothetical world where everything turns out amazingly and everything else is done right. Then he is worried about
Hopefully,
himself
it goes
as an
better than
investor.
its pronunciation.
What a terrible
and
thing to
punctuation.
put this guy.
I know. Why do you have to like that part? You could have just left it out. You should, like nobody cares about you as an investor at this
Yeah.
point. Fourth and last, but there's not a particularly important part of any of this we're going to be doing as a company. One could maybe say, if they wanted to be optimistic, that we have a lot theoretically in and or potentially for the raise. Like a lot of prospects here, a lot of good things moving in his direction, according to him. More than enough to cover all of the needs, which means the $6 billion hole that he's created of user funds. Those are the needs he's referring to there. But at the end of the day, the entire world lives between there and where we need to be. I don't want to give anybody a sense of confidence in that that this will happen, and don't want to imply anything about the odds of success here. But for the next week, this will be my top priority. The raise may end up being a combined. This is where it starts to get
So
interesting.
at the week after, it's not his priority.
Yeah, you only spent years putting this scam together.
Well, hold on. This is a pretty key part that was starting to develop yesterday, and I think makes it very interesting when it comes to U.S. and regulation. But he said this raise may end up being a combined FTX International and FTX Infusion, but I don't want to be overconfident there. Which we do know that's what Binance was interested in as well. And from all reports we've seen so far, it does sound like that Binance US is in much better financial health than, FTX US is in much better financial condition than FTX International. So it obviously anybody who's looking to make this investment is looking to acquire FTX US, which that's where the FTX US is what was acquiring Voyager, which obviously comes with a lot of those users and funds and assets and all of that sort of stuff. So obviously anybody who's interested in making this acquisition would be interested in FTX US, but then it brings into account the U.S. regulations, I would think, because you're talking now about a U.S. company, which if FTX U.S. is involved in it, I would imagine gives the United States an ability to stop that sale if they want to. So anyway,
Now,
that was
actually. Can we go back to that tweet for 1 second?
this is still part of this. Is
This part, because hold on, I was gonna try to bring this up to see if he's making some kind of meme lord. Okay, I can't capture my screen, but if you notice, he uses all the double dashes. So
Yeah.
in coding, plus is increment to plus a value by 1, but the
put
double
stuff on the
minus
screen when you talk.
is a decrement, so it actually subtracts in coding. So is he trying to make a meme lord that he's like subtracting that he's actually going to do this, where he's like, oh, we're pretending we're going to say that because he
Like,
double
dude,
hyphens.
Like
He's
his
not that
fingers are
smart.
crossed.
Yeah, it's a double negative. Yeah.
He's not that smart.
Because then I think it's Python that you use the double minus and double plus.
Well, that would be especially evil.
That'd be so
Sofa
mean.
King Cryptic said, "Fire sale." The FTX story about how Ben Armstrong led the charge to take him down, featuring the cast of Boiler Room, Giovanni Ribisi as SBF, Vin Diesel as TJ,
I'll take it.
Scott Cam as BitBoy.
Who's
and
Scott?
more.
TJ is definitely
Scott
Paul
Kahn,
Walker.
he's in Hawaii 5-0.
Hawaii 5-0?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, nice. I
No,
thought he was
Scott
talking, I
Kahn
saw
should,
Giovanni. I thought he was talking about Little Gio. I was like, oh,
No,
how'd
yeah,
Giovanni
yeah.
make it in here already?
Scott Kahn should play TJ for sure.
Who the heck is Scott Kahn?
Look him up. You'll.
But we
be
still
happy
agree
about it.
that Decker is playing Ben.
Well,
Decker-
Scott Kahn is
I
in
do
the
like
running.
Decker as Ben. I did see somebody else, Gainsey tweeted out,
Scott Kahn
Scott
is
Kahn.
TJ.
Yeah, Scott Kahn is TJ for sure.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Deezy's Vin Diesel.
I can see that. I
Vin
like
Diesel.
Deezy.
Because he's
Vin
bald.
Diesel.
because he's bald.
I got him.
Gainsey did tweet out the other day that he didn't say he agrees with me, but he said the same thing I said on this the other day. Jonah Hill as SBF
Nice.
in the and I'm gonna look it up real quick.
I was gonna say Jesse not Jesse Friedman, just Jesse, the guy who was in Social Network, Mark Zuckerberg.
I'm gonna say
Oh,
Eisenberg,
yeah.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Eisenberg as SBF.
As SBF. Put
Hold
on a
let me
fat suit.
Yeah. Chat, who would play SBF in this movie? I'm gonna
Danny
put this.
DeVito as Ben.
We know
got
of good
Jack
movies
Black
gotta
has been-
come out.
You know
Jack
what?
Black, we've heard that would be a good
Jack
one
Black
too.
has been-
The young
the
Jack Black.
actress from Hocus Pocus who played the dark hair one because he looks like a Sanderson sister.
Okay. We know this is going to
Where's
be a
this
reality
picture?
at some point. We got to start coming up with ideas now.
Yeah.
'cause,
I know. I
You
thought
know,
it was him. Maybe.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
Big Short. That was a great one. Love that.
Josh Gad.
Josh Gad as SBF.
One.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Doesn't have to look like him. It just has to like play. So think
Here it
of the
is.
actors that play him and not that look like him. That's pretty
Yeah,
freaking great.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. I think
looks like
Paul.
him.
But isn't he like ripped now or something?
No, he's not. He goes back.
No,
and
you're
forth.
Did
thinking
he?
of Daniel Radcliffe.
Look, he's an actor.
Yeah.
He can get in
Oh,
shape for the role.
That's what
That's
Gainsey
true.
said.
Tom
Yeah,
Brady
that's
is
what I'm
Tom
saying.
Brady.
He took it. I don't. He didn't hear it from
Oh.
me, but I agree. That's what I said on the show. I'm pretty sure yesterday. And then he saw this picture. I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I was picturing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Lovely.
All right. So we got to get back on track.
Do we?
Well, we don't have to.
And someone mentioned Tom Brady doesn't even need to get an actor. He just hops right in there.
All right. Where was?
Who the fuck is Martin Starr? Oh God, no, I don't want to know who that is.
Okay.
Hmm.
So the last part of this, and this is where it really starts getting interesting, as one of the potential above raises. So when you're talking about those new investors, we have had talks with Justin Sun as Twitter broke. Details forthcoming. So, and these are just a lot of this is kind of just day-to-day operational. Basically, he's given kind of marching orders to
All the people that are going to jail with him.
Yeah, all the people that haven't quit yet, basically, which is not like we covered yesterday. Breaking his entire legal and compliance team all quit. Ironically, here somewhere in here, he says he's not worried about having to do KYC for anybody at all this week. And we know All God Trading on Twitter is freaking out because he's got 10 figures locked up in KYC in FTX because he hasn't KYC'd and he's been trying to get funds off there and can't get his KYC through. And it says it right there, like we're not really going to be doing a lot of that this week. Not really worried about it because
Oh
I
my
think because they've closed signups. But
Oh my gosh.
Jeez. Well, and Dave Portnoy has a couple Bitcoin on FTX and was like,
he's on FTX US, I hope, right?
I don't know, but he said he can't get it because he stopped withdrawals. So he may be on international.
Okay,
And then
big
he tweeted
FTX.
out, he was like, does that mean my Bitcoin is not accessible anymore?
Oh,
No.
I did see him asking.
Yeah, and
those
then of course
questions,
Richard
yeah.
Hart was like, "That's a dumb question." I'm like,
No, I mean I saw he
Right.
actually got a lot of good responses.
Yeah.
Direct responses. Of course Adam Back was on. It's interesting. It's pretty awesome that he gets direct response. Adam Back said he
Yeah.
always ask your Bitcoin questions to me, which Adam Back, one of the potential rumored allegedly could potentially be Satoshi characters. So if you're getting direct Bitcoin tutorials from him, that's about as good as it gets.
Yeah.
Obviously
good.
lead developer on a lot of different things. And anyway, he responded to Dave Portnoy and said, come to me with all your Bitcoin questions in the future and I'll get you straightened out.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of other good answers too about what happens to your Bitcoin. So for those of you who don't know, you want to tell them, Nick, if you have Bitcoin locked on an exchange, the exchange goes insolvent, you can't do withdrawals. Where's their Bitcoin? Is it just lost on the internet forever? Or
no, it's not lost on the internet forever. It's probably going to get sold to someone. So
Oof.
it's not yours anymore. So wah, wah, but someone's going to get it for a fraction of what you paid for it.
The dangers of exchanges.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And it was funny how. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's what Dave was thinking today.
Yes.
But we were talking about Binance and how it's
I
a
love
centralized
that.
exchange.
I love that.
Binance is a centralized exchange, but it's the most decentralized of the centralized exchanges because
Mhm.
like CZ doesn't have a house; he like stays in hotel rooms. There are no offices
Right.
for Binance, right? We all work remote. Just an interesting dichotomy between FTX and Binance.
Makes it a little harder to pin down.
Yeah,
A decentralized
yeah.
organization like that.
Yeah, and here's the breakdown of kind of where did this leak from? Alameda blew up the same time Three Arrows Capital. This is what I was talking about briefly at the beginning of the show. So if you guys weren't aware, the last big meltdown price crash was when Three Arrows Capital, Celsius, Terra Luna all crashed, and we just had a domino effect of a lot of big hedge funds go under. And so here's basically the issue that caused all the problems. This May and June, and SBF owned both Alameda, a trading house, and FTX, this exchange. Alameda Research suffered a series of losses from deals, according to 3 people familiar with its operations. This included $500 million loan agreement that failed with Voyager. 2 of the people said Voyager filed for bankruptcy protection from the following month, with FTX US arm paying $1.4 billion for its assets in September auction. So that's where Reuters could not determine the full extent of losses Alameda suffered. Seeking to prop up Alameda, which held almost $15 billion in assets, Bankman-Fried transferred at least $4 billion in FTX funds secured by assets, including FTT and shares in the trading platform Robinhood Markets. Said Alameda had disclosed 7.6% Robinhood share in that May.
Wow.
A portion of these FTX funds were customer deposits, and that is the big problem.
Right.
2 of the people said through Reuters could not determine, though Reuters could not determine their value. Sam Bankman-Fried did not tell other FTX executives about the move to prop up Alameda. The people said, adding he was afraid that it would leak. On November 2nd, a report by news outlets CoinDesk detailed a leaked balance sheet that allegedly showed that much of the Alameda's $14.6 billion in assets were held in FTT. Alameda CEO Caroline Ellison tweeted that the balance sheet was merely a subset of our company entities and over $10 billion of assets are not reflected, and then wouldn't comment. Obviously, we know that turned out not to really be accurate. Yeah, so that is all what's led to this situation. I did like, I will read this in a minute. It's Jesse Powell's kind of response to this whole situation. Jesse Powell recently stepped down as CEO, was one of the founders of Kraken, another large centralized exchange that we were talking about yesterday. Kraken, very financially stable. Binance, very financially stable. A lot of the older exchanges, they've been in this space a long time. A lot of the true crypto people run very well managed crypto exchanges. Jesse Powell had been in, I think, since 2012 or 13, almost right at the very beginning. We covered CZ and Binance earlier this week, how they operate and what they've been in, which we will. They've done this proof of reserves initiative, which we're going to touch on a little bit at the end, because they showed their holdings and their reserves, and it was quite substantial. Showed that they definitely had the funds to cover the hole in this balance sheet, but obviously it would have sucked up most of their reserves and probably would have been, too much to cover. But I really would push for people like Jesse Powell to step up in leading where this regulation charge needs to go. I think he'd have a really good handle on both crypto and decentralization and DeFi and what it can do for the humanity and blockchain and permissionless access for economy all across the world, as well as understanding U.S. regulations, KYC, ALM laws better than anybody else, because he's had to deal with them from running an exchange in the United States for a very long time, a U.S.-based exchange. I think it might have been the first. I think Coinbase was not. Does you know who came first, Coinbase or Kraken? Does anybody know?
I think it was
Coinbase. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm almost certain.
In 2012? Let's
Yeah.
look. When was
Coinbase. Curate says
May
Coinbase.
2012.
Yeah.
When was Kraken?
This is how you
2020.
Google, boys and girls.
That's how you learn. Oh, I was right.
Oh,
Got them.
Ooh.
July
Oh, wait.
2011.
was it in the U.S.? Okay, I guess.
Yeah,
it was.
United
Yeah.
States.
Okay, so they were before.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Wow,
See?
they've been around a while.
So
Look,
just
you guys,
yeah.
you all learned something.
look at
See?
that. We're all learning every day. So just for frame of reference, TJ,
Yes.
this is bigger than Luna. This crash, FTX crash, right? I think Luna,
I would say Alameda is bigger than Luna by itself. The cascade effect, which will be bigger, I'm not sure.
do we know the dollar amount for Alameda yet? How much that they've lost? 'Cause I know FTX is 32 billion.
The amount of, when you say value, they've lost, like the size of the imbalance, like the
Yeah.
hole.
Yeah.
I think the hole is supposed to be about 6 or 7 billion, like
Okay.
to cover it.
So this is really bad. Frame of reference: Lehman Brothers, 619 billion.
You mean Ligma Brothers?
Woo.
That's how much the Lehman Brothers collapse was. That's how big it was.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, now they know, guys. It's gonna be sounds for days.
Well,
Uh,
weren't you were bringing up Evergrande?
Well, and then Evergrande is another couple $100 billion. So yes, this is really bad for crypto, and this is like really rocked our socks off. But in the grand scheme of things,
Right.
banking, the most legislated and regulated thing on the planet,
Right.
still like we don't even hold a candle to the level of corruption that's in the banking system right now. So,
Right.
Bruh, yeah, you're right. I mean,
Bruh.
this is a tiny market compared to the
Yes.
actual traditional markets, the derivatives markets especially, but just even the stock market alone. I mean, at this point we don't even have $1 trillion market cap. We're sitting at 870 billion for total market cap. So you're talking about they lost our entire industry.
Ugh.
yeah, pretty much.
That's a whole different game. So Jesse Powell, Kraken, one of the ones they reached out to as one of the potential people to have the money to stopgap this hole and prop this up to kind of hold this industry from taking this hit. And this was his response. I read it first thing this morning. I really enjoyed it. Figured I'd share it with you guys because I tend to agree with his sentiment pretty well. He said, this industry is made up of so many smart people, passionate, open-minded, welcoming people with the genuine humanitarian interests at heart. I know we're going to get past this. True believers will not be deterred, but this is a massive setback. I'm really trying to control my rage. Because, of course, they had to look into the books when they were considering if Kraken was going to step in and make this acquisition, which obviously it sounds like they are not going to be moving forward. Our good, trusting nature makes us easy targets for con artists. Some even tell us straight up that they're here for profits, not crypto, and we praise them for their honesty. He's referring directly to Sam there.
Yeah.
Yet we're surprised when they turn out to be who they said they were. Where's the Bears reference? Just slapping the side. The Bears are who they thought they were. You guys know, the sports people know what I'm talking about. I watched that game. That was a Cardinals versus Bears, wasn't it? Anyway, yeah, we're surprised when they turn out to be exactly who they said they were. We need to raise our standards, which I agree with. Hopefully he can lead this charge along with people like CZ and Eric Voorhees as well. This isn't about aiming high and missing. This is about recklessness, greed, self-interest, hubris, psychopathic behavior that causes a person to risk all the hard-won progress this industry has earned over a decade for their own personal gain, while already being rich AF.
Right, like just grabbing power more and more, compounding the issue further.
Yeah, I agree 100%. We let clowns ride under our banner while they sell us out for their own interests. We give them power to speak for us, but they haven't earned that privilege. When they blow themselves up, it's our house, our reputation, our people which bear the brunt of the damage. This damage here is huge. An exchange implosion of this magnitude is a gift to Bitcoin haters all over the world. It's an excuse they were waiting for to justify whatever attack they've been keeping in their back pocket, and which he's referring to regulators or anybody who might be an enemy of Bitcoin. We're going to be working to undo this for years. And I know I've talked to different people over the last few days that think this is going to cause a 2 to 3 year bear market. This might break the 4-year cycle. I still don't think that. I still think we'll have a bull market in 24, 25, but some people think it's that bad. This is going to take years to fix. The last few months have been absolutely brutal. Even people who should have known better got wrecked. More business failures are sure to come as this contagion spreads, which I haven't heard this word contagion used more since 2020, I feel like, about this incident, which just goes to show how many layers I keep saying are into this and how many more things are going to kind of start unraveling as time goes on. Beyond the industry, lives are destroyed. I pray that we don't lose our people like we did in the wake of Mt. Gox. VCs, the media, the experts failed. People torched their own reputation, vouching for individuals, projects, businesses that they had not done due diligence. This is, people that were way up at FTX, other people that have had prestigious careers that were, basically coming out and saying like, no, of course they're good. Like, why would anybody doubt any of this? It's all just FUD.
Just believing people above us is going to be kind of hard to do.
Exactly. And, on All In podcast, they were talking about this like 2 weeks ago. They said, what was due diligence, 6 months ago? And it was, yeah, this guy's fine. That was due diligence. That's what was flying in VC land. And it's just insane. There was no due diligence.
Yeah, he's good for it.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I think some other TJ watched Shrek recently. No, I didn't watch Shrek.
I watched Shrek.
My son watches Shrek like 4 times.
What did I say that makes you think I watched Shrek recently? It was a great movie. I mean, I'm not hating. I love Shrek, but I have definitely. It's been years since I've seen Shrek. Let's see. VCs. Yeah, that's what you're referring to. The media, they failed to do their own, people torch their own reputations, vouching for these individuals. I know for a fact that VCs wrote checks blindly. Why? Because revenues were strong. Were they sustainable? Were they bleeding out money the other side? Was it all predicated on unstable dealing setup, front running clients, misappropriation of user funds? Never asked.
Yeah, they were all swimming naked.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because of your onion analogies. Ogres are like onions.
Yeah, onions are like layers.
You
Yeah.
mean like parfaits?
What? Parfaits.
Parfaits have a layer, I think. Just one though.
I'm making waffles. Now I'm hungry. 9 red flags. Acting like you know everything after showing up to the battle 8. This is a direct shot at SBF of like the red flags he would have seen as a VC of like looking at this character. Acting like you know everything after showing up to the battle 8 years late. 9-figure buying geopolitical favor or buying political favor. Being an over eager to please DC. Huge ego purchases like 9-figure sports deal. Being a media darling seeking out puff pieces. EA virtual signaling. FTT. You know, and I sent, there was another thread where somebody kind of broke down back in September all the issues they were seeing on chain with FTX and why they were removing all their capital from there, which some of that was what Jesse was just referring to here. He said, please, as an industry, we have to recognize the signs, believe people when they show / tell us who they are, and for the first time, shame them and shut them out. If we don't, they'll take us down with them when they inevitably destroy themselves. Don't trust, verify. U.S. lawmakers and regulators have some accountability too. You drove this business offshore because you refused to provide a workable regimen under which these services could be offered in a supervised manner. Enforcement wrongfully focuses on convenient onshore good actors, meaning like they're going to spend more time making life difficult for Coinbase and Kraken who remain in the United States, and rather than give the framework for people like FTX to operate in the United States, and they just go overseas and operate very opaquely and without a lot of jurisdiction and insight really. Ultimately, we all have a responsibility to humanity to protect crypto and deliver it unadulterated to the masses. We can do that by being good crypto citizens, self-regulating, attacking the cancers among us, and leading by example. We can't beg the government to save us, which I am a big proponent of.
Is this a call for toxicity? Like a return to being a toxic
Bitcoin maximalism?
System
No,
of a Down's a great band.
What's that?
System of a Down. Toxicity. Boomers.
You always derail the conversation so quickly, BJ. It's one of your best skills is to just completely derail the conversation with something.
makes very
like it's a great reference. I always appreciate your references.
Very niche jokes.
Yeah, no, I mean it makes like it like oh yeah, System of a Down. Talk like it makes sense.
The guitar started in my head immediately.
Yeah, now we're completely off track. Because I hope it's not a call for toxicity because I think that was a big misstep and part of why Bitcoin maximalism started to get a bad name a little bit. I think whoever convinced people toxicity is the best way to win people over, I think made a huge mistake because I think appealing and helping people understand and trying to, I understand Bitcoin. If you believe Bitcoin is the best and everybody should buy Bitcoin, I understand that argument. What I don't understand is the kind of vitriol response to people who have questions and who don't immediately come to your way of thinking of like, well, if you don't get it, you're too stupid for me. I don't have time to respond to you. So I don't think it's that type of toxicity, but what I do think what he's saying is when we see people that are, trading background, or they're just here to make money, they're not here to make a difference. We need to call that out. We don't need to applaud it and be, like I said, a few weeks ago, we were putting him in front of lawmakers as somebody to speak for our industry.
Yeah.
Well,
Why?
I mean,
He has no idea what he was doing,
Not
clearly.
us.
Not-
Well, no,
someone
not
was not
us,
us.
but I'm just saying, like, crypto as an industry
Right.
Yeah.
had just let him waltz in, and he was, like Jesse was saying, telling us from the very beginning, like, yeah, I'm not really a crypto guy. I'm just here to take all the money for myself and then give it away in a way that makes sense to me and a way I think it will benefit the world, which to him was giving it to a lot of politicians, which again, major red flag for all of us that are here in crypto. I don't think we think giving a lot of the money back to the elites and the politicians is the play.
That's like the opposite
Exactly.
reason of what I'm in crypto for
Yeah.
in
Same.
general. I am fully in crypto for capital flight. It's the name of my game. I'm sticking to it. So
Capital flag.
Don't be
Yeah.
fooled. SBF does not know the second or first or third thing about crypto. He's a TradFi bro who apparently plays League of Legends during
While on the
investment
run.
calls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Again,
he doesn't-
you can't say too many bad things about League of Legends because I love that game.
No. I'm
But
just
I
saying,
saw
like,
the interview and I know exactly
Yeah.
or the transcript of was it Sequoia Capital or
yeah,
was
with
it different?
Sequoia. Yeah. And Sequoia is like the OG, which by the way, they rated their FTX investment to 0.
Yeah, I saw that later too. That was
So wah wah.
I have a question from the chat.
Yeah.
Lord Servant said, thoughts on Bitcoin missing a block for 85 minutes. What does that
how long
mean?
ago did that? Basically, what that means is Bitcoin solves blocks generally on average about every 10 to 15 minutes. Blocks can take longer to solve based on the hash rate and the computing power and the difficulty of
Yeah.
each block. So when
We
did
had-
that happen?
We had an all-time high in hash rate, like really recently. I think they were around the same time.
So what, 2 weeks
The
ago?
question was a little bit, probably like 15 minutes ago.
No, I'm just curious, when did the block?
Oh, I don't know.
Was it like an uncle block?
One block for over an hour.
On block?
Yeah, I feel like I remember when it happened. It was back in it looks like it happened in October. I mean, I wouldn't freak out about it too much. Obviously, if it happened more than one block, it would be something to keep an eye on. But blocks, sometimes they solve quicker than average. Sometimes they take a little bit longer. There was a lot of, it looks like, let's see,
So it wasn't
13,000
today?
transactions were, no, it was back in October.
No.
The transactions were pending before the latest block was mined. It underwent difficulty.
Ravenwood
So
Crypto
last
says
week,
it was a
Bitcoin
long
underwent.
block.
What's that?
He says it was a long block, happens every 30 days.
Yeah, it's
Isn't
not.
that
It's what I'm
you?
saying. It's not like extremely
it's not,
uncommon.
actually.
85 is uncommon that it's that long. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you might get a 30-minute block isn't uncommon. And that's why they average to 10 to 15 minutes. But to me, it's kind of a non.
Yeah, on October 31st, we had our highest Bitcoin hash rate.
Yeah, so it's probably in the midst of a difficulty
Right.
adjustment, a block that happened to have a lot of transactions, and somehow just took a long time for people to solve it.
One more. Crypto Thorn said, quick round for everyone. What's your cold storage wallet of choice?
I like Ledger.
FTX.
Oh,
Yeah, anytime I hear questions like that, my first reaction hesitation is like, oh, well, it's bad OPSEC to tell everybody like exactly where you store all your crypto or what
Evernote.
you use, but
That's fair. That's a fair answer.
yeah. But I mean, I know you guys are asking. I know everybody in this chat could only be asking for the most honest and ethical reasons.
Yeah.
You guys would never try to steal anybody's crypto.
Let's just
so.
say I did make a sweet video about making your own Trezor with the Raspberry Pi if you want to be super secure and know that nobody has your
That's
seed
cool.
phrase.
There you go. Where can they find that video?
It's on Hit Network, isn't it? Duh.
Yeah.
Yeah, there
gotta
you
go digging
Alright.
and hit now.
The most secure is a paper wallet.
Don't do it if you're new to crypto. Don't do a paper
Don't do a paper wallet.
That's good.
But that is true.
It's the most
What do
secure,
we think
but-
about the Bitbox wallet? Never heard of it. Don't buy it.
Bitbox.
A lot of people saying
Bitbox.
Ledger.
Ledger, Trezor are the two most common. They're
Yeah.
very consistent. They're very good technology. There's nothing wrong with using those.
Chemistry, bro. FTX is cold storage now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, got 'em.
What do you think about
Got 'em.
Arculus?
Arculus wallet is a fine wallet. They're newer company. They're large. They've been putting a lot of money into marketing. Time in crypto is always one thing that matters to me. So again, nothing against Arculus. I'm sure it's a great wallet. We've used it. I know
Yeah, they're good.
They gave them out at Bitcoin 20 whatever the last one
Yeah.
was, 2021, 2022. What year is it?
Yes.
22.
22.
It's still 22,
Is it?
Still 22.
barely.
Yeah.
Because it's a bear market?
Exodus is a hot wallet. That is not a cold wallet.
Correct. A lot of
Which-
people get
which is
confused on that,
owned-
but you can use an Exodus in combination with a Trezor. A lot of people don't, so it can be like the front end, which we went over this the other day, operation with your Trezor. So you hook your Trezor to it and do all your swaps on Exodus.
You know who owns Exodus?
Who?
FTX.
Does anybody here know the actual
Are you
difference?
sure?
between-
Really?
Pretty sure.
Do you guys know the actual
They-
difference between a hot wallet and a cold wallet?
Yes.
What is it?
I do. You want me to explain it?
It's very simple. What's the difference?
You got
the,
a joke.
The temperature?
Oh, really? That's where you're going?
Well, I thought you were going to
That's
like,
what I thought. I thought you were going to say
Yeah.
something really childish, like if you sit on a cold wallet and you fart on it, it turns into a hot wallet.
No,
or
I'm
Yeah.
something
trying
like.
to actually
Or like if
educate
you
people
put a
for
cold
once.
wallet by your gooch, then it's a hot
Oh,
wallet or
God.
something.
No, hot,
But I'm just saying what BJ would say.
hot wallet, your seed phrase is generated online.
My
Cold
mom's here.
is generated
This
offline.
is what I was referring to. Go to the wide shot. That's where you put it. That's what I was talking about.
Oh boy.
I
Your
hate,
armpit.
I hate everyone.
Okay, so say it again, BJ.
Hot wallet, your seed phrase is generated online, so people could potentially hack and access it while it's happening. Cold wallet, it's done offline.
Correct. And generally speaking, it also tends to be, when people refer to it, can be stored online as well. So like a hot wallet, a lot of software wallets, the seed phrase is stored on a device that's connected to the internet versus being stored or not stored on a device that's ever been connected to.
Also, your crypto is not on that physical device. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it broke. It's like, no, it's on chain and it's connected to your seed phrase.
You're just using that device to access it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I realize people are like, oh, I lost the device, but I have the seed phrase. And you still have
That's
it.
good.
Then you're good.
That's
Gucci.
good.
Well, that fear holds a lot of people back from this stuff,
I
not
know.
understanding that you can recover your funds.
Yeah.
If you break the ledger, you lose the ledger. As long as you have the seed phrase, you can reaccess it. That's
Shout out to Crypto Weatherman, who's a crypto influencer that refuses to use cold wallets because he says it's too confusing.
Yeah, he's in our group. He's in this Twitch group.
I don't know why. I don't know why would you say that, bro? Don't say that.
Why? I shout him out every single time.
No, I'm telling you, he's telling people to not use cold wallets.
Oh, to not use cold
Yeah,
wallets.
he says I don't get them. They're dumb. I'm like, bro.
So it's
I've
like-
heard a
say
lot
that-
of people. That's actually not an uncommon.
when we did our cyber pandemic
Crypto's
videos.
hard.
Here's mind killer. That's all I'm saying here.
yeah.
Here's the mind killer.
No, I mean I've heard a lot of people say like, "Oh no, again, I'm about to sneeze again."
Do it. Do
Look
it.
at the
Good.
light.
Hey guys, let's fill it up with memes while
Unless he
TJ's
has
waiting to
photons
sneeze.
Sneeze or
harmosis.
stop.
It helps you sneeze. I have another
If he's
question.
phototarmatic,
Hold on. All right, go ahead.
only reason that would work.
Okay.
Crypto Thorn, you want to order your ledger from Ledger, not from Amazon. So if you ordered it from
did.
them, then you're good.
And if you ordered it today or yesterday with the link we gave you on the morning stream, you probably got a 10% discount.
There you go.
Hey.
What's up?
Who will be Razmataz asked who will be the BitConnect FTX of the next bull run?
The BitConnect FTX of
Ooh.
the next. Well, we haven't seen them yet, right? If they're the next bull run, like FTX came up in this bull run, BitConnect came up in the 2017.
Yeah,
bull
so we
run.
don't know.
So they'll come up.
They'll
in-
probably be a white knight in shining armor. Come about
Yeah.
end of 23, start of 24.
what? But
I think it'll be a metaverse.
I was going to say prediction. What's the
Yeah.
angle? So you're going to say metaverse. I was going to
Yeah.
say something like I think it's going to be some kind of weird gaming project that
Yeah.
like goes super viral, like Pokemon Go,
Yes.
and then dies. I mean, not saying Pokemon Go's
Yeah.
dead. If you guys are out there still catching
I
stuff, I
still
know.
catch it.
I know
caught
there's.
one.
I was gonna say
this
I know
morning.
there's like 4 of you every weekend that still go out
Yeah.
into your park, and you know, like
Urkelson said OpenSea.
OpenSea. Well, that's actually a pretty good. I think it'll be metaverse because it's going to be a bunch of normies that are going to get wrecked in 2025, 2026.
That don't know.
That
all
don't
that
know.
stuff.
They've bought a whole bunch of stuff. It's integrated in Twitter or it's on Instagram, and then all the normies are just going to
So
get.
GTA 6.
ooh,
No, I think it's actually
I think
going
that
to
one's gonna
be
hit.
That's gonna be
Instagram clothing.
Ooh.
I think it's going to be NFT clothing that's on Instagram
That's
because
pretty good
because
call.
it's integrated with Polygon,
Hmm.
and you can have filters, right, that like change your face, make you look like a piece of broccoli or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, you can put clothes on that you own as an NFT as a filter, camera filter on Instagram. So I think a bunch of like young women and young kids are going to have these NFT like
Gucci.
metaverse shoes and pants and
Is that what
hats and all-
Richard Hart already does in his photos?
Please don't bring up Richard Hart. You're going to get me freaking
He's
murdered
triggered.
on here. I could have a 30-minute rant on Richard Hart right now. I think that's how they're going to get wrecked.
He has posters on his wall.
Yeah. Just a Richard Hart shrine.
No.
That's what he's got there.
It's the opposite. What's the opposite of a shrine? A doo-doo trough?
2 shrines.
Two shrines.
a voodoo doll.
Yeah, I was gonna
A
say
voodoo
Richard,
doll.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nakudo said, you think that 15.5K is a good support because it's about the average cost to mine a Bitcoin?
Yes.
I was talking
Hmm.
about the cost to Nick today. I mean, the cost, if we go down to 10, Bitcoin is going to cost twice as much as it's worth to mine.
It
that
could be.
level.
Usually, support is determined a lot more by volume, overall volume that the market's traded. So I'd have to. I don't think there's a lot of volume at those levels. Like 15 and is kind of in like there is. It's around the 17 levels. There is around the 14.5, 14.2 kind of levels. But I do like that theory. That's something I've been saying is kind of that. That's what I was looking at 14 and change about. Is I was saying that's approximately average what it costs to mine a Bitcoin or create a Bitcoin right now. Like that could be looked at as fair value. We did talk about that on an episode, I think last week or a couple weeks ago. So yeah, not a bad theory whatsoever to look at. Nick, you mentioned Matic there. we were talking literally right before we went live. It's already recovered back up to $1.10 right now. I'd
Amazing.
say probably the biggest winner of this.
Amazing.
As far as a project that's held through this dip, I mean, obviously everything got hit and then bounced back, but it's up actually at this point for the week, still almost 14.5%.
Holy smokes.
Partnership with Meta, obviously a big part of that. Definitely somebody that's winning. It's straddled the line between being the second layer to the #1 most active ecosystem, Ethereum, as well as corporate partnerships, NFTs, you know, and the kind of the newest wave. It's not a layer 1, it's a layer 2, but it's a layer 2 for the most active ecosystem, and it's kind of showing it's not all about just being a layer 1, because a lot of other ones have struggled to get that ecosystem going. If you can be a solution in the most active ecosystem, could be the biggest opportunity of all. And then you start making a name and a brand for yourself. I'm shocked how many newer crypto investors, and maybe I shouldn't be for 2021, but they own some Bitcoin, they own some Ethereum, and they own some Matic. A lot of times they don't even own some Bitcoin. It's become almost like another XRP kind of onboarding for the new user or new investor, I guess.
They've been making a lot of noise during the front end of this bear market too. The Starbucks, and someone mentioned the Disney. Like every day, it felt like me and Johnny have something really exciting to talk about coming for Polygon. And that's one that I'm really glad to hold a little bit of.
It's so cheap to use too. Like to just like if you're on QuickSwap and you're doing DeFi and stuff, it's like fractions of pennies. I think I did I staked a bunch of sand on Matic and stuff, and to unstake it after like a year, it cost me 5 cents to move it out.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
That is amazing. So real quick, we're going to talk a little bit more about exchange reserves. So everybody was asking yesterday which exchanges should be trusted when it comes to liquidity, insolvency, and funds. We mentioned Binance, obviously, Kraken, some of the older ones. We think Coinbase, being a publicly traded company, is probably in decent shape. You know, very regulated here in the United States. But if you're looking for confidence in Kraken, just the fact that they were having conversations about potentially acquiring FTX with a $6 billion hole to cover means they've got some pretty good reserves. But this was pretty impressive to me when I looked at these numbers, that Binance reveals exactly how much Bitcoin, Ethereum it stores along with some USD. But 475,000 BTC, that's several $billion. Let's see, that's like $8 or $9 billion worth of just Bitcoin, I think, right there. Yeah. So they could have covered the whole with just their stack of Bitcoin. Obviously, they're not going to go through that whole thing. 4.8 million Ethereum. So, you know, that's another, you say Ethereum, 4.8 million Ethereum.
That's a lot of Ethereum.
Is that, say if Ethereum's at $1,000, is that $48 billion worth of Ethereum? Is that right? Somebody do that conversion for me.
If it's 4.8 million ETH and 1 ETH is basically $1,000, that's $48 billion, right? They are the biggest exchange.
No, that's got to.
Hang on a second.
4,800,000,000.
Yeah, it's 4 billion. Okay, it's 4. So it'd be 4 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so
that's still a lot.
That's a lot of money. And then they've got $17 billion worth of Tether, $21 billion worth of Binance USD, another 600 million USDC. You know, so it's clearly a stacked up reserve there. Many times over, they could have covered this hole. But again, when you're in such good shape, why take on such a risk for something like what FTX is at, as well as dealing with the United States government, antitrust? Just keep doing what you're doing, and you've effectively now taken out your #1 competition, which that is some of the stuff that was in Sam's comment. Some of the more, he did have some, we didn't read it all word for word. He did have some passive aggressive statements in there saying that, you know, I'm not going to attack CZ because I don't want to throw glass stones. But I don't know if he was ever intending to go through with the deal, basically alluding to the fact that they think they intentionally brought them down through aggressive action, more or less.
I think FTX took themselves down.
I would agree 100%. I think FTX definitely took themselves down. But that's basically what he said is like, we're not happy with the way Binance treated us, basically, and we think they're no better than us is kind of how they were acting, which is just kind of ironic, but
incorrect.
Yeah, incorrect is the right way. So the other thing that was interesting, I don't have it up here. We did cover it this morning. Other exchanges that are coming out and stating they're going to do these proof of reserves. OKCoin, KuCoin, which I know is another one a lot of us trade on and are familiar with. That was another one that was part of the discussion a lot here yesterday. They said they're putting those things together over the next couple weeks. Those are all going to be published. So sounds like this is going to be turning into some positive self-regulation by some of these exchanges, which I think would go a long way with regulators. And let's see, didn't FTX go to Binance? Yes, FTX did go to Binance begging for a bailout. That is correct. Binance decided not to go through with it. You're right. So they can't be too mad. They reached out and asked. They said, please, please, please cover this. Binance looked at it for 24 hours and said, no, we're not touching that.
Open the books, shut the books.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think Jesse Powell did the same thing with Kraken.
Yeah.
Open the books, close the books, or whoever the new CEO is over there now.
The guys
Wave
in the-
One Collectibles said, will the exchanges have the liquidity in hand to pay sellers during the next bull run?
Yeah, I mean, because
Sure.
exchanges are
Yeah.
sitting on a lot of stuff too. So obviously, when the prices go up, exchanges generally are in pretty good shape. It's when prices are falling and users are trying to get their capital out. That's when they have a hard time
Do
covering.
they
all
mean
those
specifically in USD? Or
I would assume they mean in USD. Yeah, which could happen. I mean, you could get this liquidity crunch going the other way if crypto prices. Well, but again, they're sitting on tons of crypto too. So if crypto prices are soaring, they can generally cover.
Right.
It's when their reserves are in crypto and it starts crashing, and that's what gets us into this situation. But I think going through the next bull run, you'll see we have a lot better proof of reserves, as they're calling it, or much better transparency into all these exchanges. So I think this will be really good. And then lastly here, this is kind of the last angle of the.
God, that
Got
one scared
him.
me.
Got him.
I was like, what is going on? You guys are crazy. Interesting. Gary Gensler runs to the media while reports to my office allege he was helping SBF and FTX work on legal loopholes to obtain a regulatory monopoly. We were looking into this. So this is some of the this is Tom Emmer, a senator, right?
Yes.
Congressman from Minnesota 6th District. We got SBF here's going on Squawk Box CNBC at 8 to talk about what was going on with all this FTX stuff. Obviously coming out saying they're going to be doing some strong regulation, saying the runway just got shorter for centralized exchanges in the United States. We've already seen reports from the office that Gary Gensler had been meeting with people from FTX, people from Alameda to look into, they've been having meetings at least. So I think this is going to, as far as other things to unwind, we're going to be probably seeing emails and text messages and all that kind of stuff again. So what do you think about this? Now, do you think there is some collusion here between Gensler, or do you think it was just standard meetings on regulation?
I think there's collusion.
Sounds slimy.
I think that Gensler is trying to get ahead of it. And having people like Tom Emmer pin him up against the wall. We're gonna be
right
able
when it was
to-
about to get good.
we're gonna get some real details with people like this digging hard on Gensler. And this might, I don't know, I'm kind of excited to see what might happen to Gensler in relation to the other big lawsuit that's going on.
Do you think
right
he'll be
now.
in the same cell with SBF?
That'd be a sweet thumbnail.
Does everybody 100% think SBF lands in actually behind bars?
Absolutely
No.
not.
Nope.
No. So Nick says no. BJ says no. Drew,
It's doubtful. but
doubtful.
Richard Hart will be in jail before SBF is.
It would be hard to jail.
I mean, the
SBF.
fashion police won't arrest Richard.
There might be.
I hate you.
I wouldn't count out. I wouldn't count out the chance that SBF goes to jail, but
He's
I would say
Biden's number one donor.
it's not as likely with financial crimes. I mean, we don't see a lot of people do actual hard time for
Yeah.
financial crimes.
Only
generally.
one person went to jail for the 2008 financial crisis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One.
and that was a big one. That was a
No,
long
it was-
time
That was
ago.
a lot
It
of
was a
people
long
that
time
lost
ago, and it
money.
was like some mid-level putts. At
Yeah,
a
and that's
bank
one
in-
thing
yeah.
and Andreas always talks about. Bernie Madoff went to jail because he stole from the wrong people. He
Yes.
stole from rich people, and that's why he ended up in jail. If you steal from retail, people like us, they tend to not have to go to jail. But that's what's interesting. SBF took a lot of money from some very big and some very powerful people.
Yeah.
Sequoia Capital, Vanguard, BlackRock. These are not small entities to lose their money. Now, if he can convince them he can make their money back, maybe he continues to operate, or but it's going to be hard for him to operate in crypto. It's going to be hard for him to operate any kind of product after, especially in this industry, after something like this. But if history is any indicator, when you look at people like Adam Newman, who you referenced earlier in the show, Nick, when you look at people like who's DZ's new favorite person that was on Up Only the other day, the Pharma Bro.
Oh, Martin Shkreli.
Yeah,
Shkreli or
exactly.
whatever,
Like
yeah.
these guys, they're he didn't actually have to spend any time in jail, as far as I know, a very short
Yeah,
amount of
Martin?
time.
he was in jail, and
Oh, for like a year, right?
Yeah.
well, he
Yeah.
also speculated on magic cards and single-handedly raised the price of Lion's Eye Diamond and took a bunch of magic cards off the market and then went to jail.
Yeah.
So all
amazing.
those cards are just gone from the market forever.
And he was adopted by the Latino gangs in jail.
Hell
I
yeah.
hear jail's
Yeah.
not that bad.
That's what he said. That's what he
That's what he
said.
said.
Well, yeah,
That's
if
what he
you're
told.
the
That's what he told Do Kwon. I wonder if he's
Yeah.
gonna have a call.
'Cause
we
they
need to have
knew-
an Up
Hashtag
Only.
tips with
And then
We
he
need-
just closes.
No, we
the-
need an Up Only with Do Kwon, SBF, Skrselli, and Mashinsky.
yeah, we need
Mm.
Mashinsky
Sounds like
in
the
there.
worst band ever.
Chemistry Bros trying to trigger me talking about Richard Hart. I'm going to ignore that. So no.
What about What
He's a
about
friend of the
Alex
show, and I'm
Mashinsky?
trying not to lose my job. So please don't ask me any Richard Hart questions.
Well, he's not exactly. He's
you
a
said not exactly.
not a friend of the show. He's a part of crypto culture.
Yes,
for sure.
He is definitely.
I mean, he's
in
tight with
crypto
Ben,
culture.
so I can't. be
Yeah,
like-
I mean, well,
yeah. We got to move on. We got to come.
we
up
got to
with a
move on.
Mr. Techno Goody predicts SBF will become an advisor to government agencies in an attempt to regulate crypto.
Oh, barf.
I could
Wouldn't
see
that-
him as an
Please
advisor to a
do
government
it.
agency. I don't know about in any kind of regulation. I feel like it's going to be hard for him to say
I have
anything
to
about
derail this.
regulation.
Get a life. Richard Hart strips at the Claremont Lounge.
What?
You know what?
gosh. Wow, you know this person's from Atlanta.
I would
Yeah.
pay.
That
I
checks
would.
out.
Gata
yeah.
Life, I would pay for that. And you know what, Gata Life, if you're lucky, you may see me there sometime soon.
Is Blondie still there?
Blondie, yeah. she's
Hell
there.
yeah. Her poetry is the best.
Blondie's great.
I hope
my
you guys are
God.
kidding.
No, we're not.
My
No.
God.
No.
All right, well, I have no idea what you're talking
Anyways,
TJ, we can find
Oh
out.
yeah, we can go. We
Yeah.
can we take a field trip there?
They need Jesus.
I think we're over time.
about. Over time,
We
I
did.
do have other things I
Yeah,
have to be
like-
doing.
I,
so.
I would raid somebody, but there's like no crypto channels that.
No, I just like hanging out with my peeps here. I
I
want to
know.
find out, like, we want to do some casual things too. Maybe we'll play some, like, does this TV get into that streaming computer?
Dan.
Gata Life must be from Atlanta.
Yeah.
What is a raid? A raid is when we go to somebody else's channel. Yeah, and we want, that's what I want to know. If you guys, if anybody in here would want to be or would be interested in doing a voice call in, like maybe if we set up a Discord, you could call in through Discord.
Oh,
or
yeah.
guest star, maybe a video call in. We can do that through VMix. I want to know, like, Riddle with Puns, would you call in? Or Razmataz, Sofa King, anybody in
Yeah,
here,
he
like,
said it.
yeah, I said it. I said it. If whoever would be interested in doing that, put 22 in the chat.
I mean, we can raid
Double
these
deuce.
people.
If you
Double
want to call
deuce.
in to the show, to the basement.
And then also how many, and then put, all right, there you go. There's some, okay, let me see those. And then put 27 in the chat if you're a gamer and you would maybe game with us sometime if we ever decided to do that. Like after hours.
and put
Oh.
69 if you're just a dirty boy or girl.
Don't derail it, BJ.
All right,
Stop.
chemistry, bro.
Actually, put
All right,
a.
all right, all right. And what games do you guys play?
There we
please?
go.
There it is, 96.
96.
Thanks, BJ.
Wow.
Put
Keeps
up
it
a
clean.
put up a 21 if you want to
27.
see some mining content.
Now,
It's
Nick,
getting
you
chaotic.
just talk about not ruining it.
Yeah,
That's
it's
right.
getting Chaotic.
That's
yeah.
right. Look at the sunglasses, my people.
Look, one guy, or two guys.
No, there's. See, now
Rating
they're
Boy
rolling in
Crypto.
here. They're
Mining
coming
is
in.
what is there? What do you mean mining content? There's only thing to mine but Bitcoin, and it's very hard to
Miata,
mine Bitcoin.
he-
Let's
no.
get
Very
out of
hard to
here.
mine.
All right.
You can
No,
mine
we got a lot of people
Nervos.
here. We're killing time. This is what Twitch is supposed to be. That's what I realized. I actually watched Twitch yesterday and realized, like, man, all these people just like sit here and have something. Oh yeah, I didn't even show up. I didn't even tell my story. I was gonna tell a whole story, guys. On days like today,
Why are you standing?
I'm standing up to show my shirt.
Oh.
Look at my awesome shirt.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
We got
Press
some butt.
4
We got
if
some
you want to see
butt.
Got
TJ's
some
butt.
No, this is on days like today or really days like yesterday. I wasn't expecting us to have such a hard bounce off the CPI. Oh, what's the 4 for?
Corey Harden said 4. Want to see TJ's butt.
And
No.
it's all over
You
the
showed
chat.
your butt,
It's all
so-
over the chat.
Anytime there's a major dip, I tend to wear Bitcoin clothing of some kind just
Yeah.
to like tell myself and tell the world. Like I'm kind of waiting for the guy to be like, "Oh, how's that Bitcoin thing going? It's crashing right now, huh?" And it's like, "Yeah,
How's that
Just-
fiat going?
I just bought some today," and it's like it's a reminder that we're in it for more than just the price. I remember when it was $3,200, $3,800. You know, I remember it was $7,000, $10,000. If it gets back down there again, you know, it'll go up again. So just always keep that in mind. We love hanging out with you guys. And like we said yesterday, as long as you have friends in crypto, you should be all right.
Yep.
Don't get too invested in money. There's
Wait,
more to
wanna
life than
know.
money. You want to know what?
I want to know. Press 1 if you think we've hit the bottom. And press 2 if you don't think we've bottomed.
Hit the bottom.
TJ stripper name Major Dip.
Major dip.
Take it.
Yeah,
Mine
lots
would be
of people.
Muffy
The people
Habersham.
don't think
People
we've
think it's
bottomed yet.
coming. Oh,
Yeah, there's a
harder
lot of
to
fear in the
say.
market.
Yeah, well, a lot of
Yeah.
people thought we were hitting 100,000 for the top. So if
Yeah.
everyone got the top wrong, they probably got the bottom wrong too.
I
True.
felt so stupid buying Bitcoin during COVID. Everyone was making fun of me, and I didn't feel stupid, but I was called stupid a lot, and a lot of people thought
I
it.
felt like a genius buying Bitcoin during COVID.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, you had watched it
1.5.
longer. I was a gold bug. My wife just brought up this Bitcoin thing, and I
Mm.
saw everyone talk about cooties. I was like, let's go. Funny money. Let's
So
Cooties.
you learned about Bitcoin right before COVID?
like the week of. Like, well, I knew about it, but I didn't really get into it. I was watching it, and I was more focused on just overall U.S.
So you
debt.
watched it for like a week and then
No.
got into it?
No, since like 2017. But I missed out, and I didn't have a bunch of money, and didn't really understand the fractional portion of it. And I was a
Wah,
gold
wah.
bug. I only cared about gold and brass.
The bottom is when Credit Suisse or someone collapses. Yeah.
Yeah, I
We'll
posted
see.
something. What was it I put on Instagram yesterday?
It's already baked into the price.
Let's see.
Be my excuse for everything.
Somebody, Iran replied and it was hilarious. It said somebody said, "Fed, you know, this is like a quote from the Fed. Once you're poor, unemployed, and homeless, we'll cut rates again." And
Yep.
Iran replies like, "All right, I'm there. When are the rates going up?"
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Iran's homeless?
He lives in his
No,
parents'
he's not
basement.
homeless. He's just dramatic.
Whenever he
He's the
talks
op-
about his roommates, I'm like, you mean your parents?
Iran's a socialist.
Well, then there's going to be programs for him, probably, right?
I know. He loves those programs.
It's going to be there.
No, he figured it out. He's just not looking at crypto at all. He's driving the BMW up in North Georgia, watching
Yep.
fall. I'm like, man, how about bear market activities?
Absolutely. You see that Tyson CFO that drunkenly walked into the wrong person's
I
house and
did
fell
see
asleep?
That's pretty great.
That's definitely just simple bear market
Yeah,
activity.
bear market
That's,
activities.
yeah. That's a bottom signal.
Yes.
All right. Speaking of bottom signals,
Okay, I guess I'm rating this random person who's
Rate 'em.
not even at their screen. So
oh, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, we should just walk away and leave the stream on and let them talk to each other.
Hmm.
You could watch Joel walking through here and you wouldn't even know he was live. And I'm just kidding. We're better
Yeah.
than
We
that.
do
We're only gonna bring you top notch content. These are
Nick-
some of the smartest people in all of Georgia sitting in this
Nick's
room
checking
right
his
now.
grinder. Razzmatazz, hit me up, bro.
Got
Where you
it.
at?
Got some
Where
notifications.
you
Nick,
at?
his name is not Nick. It's Crypto Sunglasses.
Yeah.
Also could be Convenient Truth, depending on how bold you are.
No, my grinder name is Diamond Undies.
Diamond Undies. huh?
Undies.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh,
Not Diamond Tendies, huh?
No, not yet.
Diamond
Diamond Undies.
Means your underwear never comes off?
Yeah.
Look, we got to cut the stream. We got to cut the stream.
Some people have to work today.
Some people got to work.
Raymond Boy
we-
said, I got to go
We
to
got to
work,
put
fam."
together ATB, which is going on at 5 p.m.
Yeah. Oh, by the way,
Yes.
here's the perfect thing. You guys are the most dedicated. I'm sure if there's 100 people and 150 people in here, I'm sure every single one of you have already done this. But if you haven't, you could subscribe to Around the Blockchain on YouTube because they're putting this up after the fact. I mean, you
No,
guys are already
you
here,
will
but
subscribe.
you will.
specifically what he was just talking about around the blockchain. We are moving around the blockchain from the BitBoy channel to its own channel starting in 2023. So
Yes.
Big news.
sub that ish right now.
Yeah,
Yes.
we have giant guests coming
Yeah, guys,
on
it deteriorated
next
real
year.
quick because we got to the end and we just didn't end it.
Yeah.
This is the end of the end. You know, like this is what happens. This is what we
Yeah.
do after we hit end. We just sit around and just chat and BS and
Play with
All right.
lightsabers.
See you at the top.
still love you, Mr. Techno Goody.
Bye.
I'm just gonna stare at the screen and tell people to stake the NES pool, the best Cardano pool ever. Okay, bye.